And now it's just like grim. They're all driving alone in their little rental cars to some obscure town in Iowa to sit there with no access whatsoever to the candidate, write up their little reports, and then they get back to their hotel and they're like writing up more for the website. And like, it's such a bad job, actually, covering politics that only the people who couldn't make it in any other business are doing it. It's it's like a reverse meritocracy. It's only the most kind of pathetic power worshipers would ever do a job like that. And,
well, like critics.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Most critics want to be writers. They're
like the worst people. Just as people, like, well, you've actually been in show business, so you've got a better experience with them, or you have a lot of experience with them. But I've known a lot of them who worked for magazines or newspapers that I worked for. And they're the kind of people who have a lot of cats and all the cats hate them. You know what I mean? They're just like the lowest. They all have some like sort of weird like wandering eye, and they're fat, and they're like super into porn, and it's totally isolated from everybody. I actually worked for one of them for a while, who was a critic for the New York Post, a guy called John Podhartz, and he was one of the weirdest, most unhappy people I've ever met in my life. And he would come into my office occasionally, and he would he had a really hairy back, and he would rub it against the door frame, and like say these kind of obscure, he was stupid, but he didn't know that he was actually kind of dumb, but he didn't know it. And he would kind of philosophize. I was like 10 years younger, and I was his captive, so he would just like lecture me as he was rubbing against the door frame. And one time we went out to lunch, and we all had drinks,